Happy Manifesting Monday to you. I'm so happy to be connecting with you. It is really windy and nasty outside, and the rain is kind of coming down, but I have my fireplace on, and I feel very snug in my office here, and I'm extremely happy to be connecting with you. So I want to talk to you about something that I thought was so weird when I first heard it years ago. I heard that love was a choice. Loving is a choice. And I didn't understand what that meant at the time, because I would think, well, that person's not very lovable. How can I choose to love him? That person's not very nice. It doesn't seem like love is a choice. So a few years ago, I thought this was so interesting. I was warned about a professor. I was going into school, going to a class, and hadn't met this particular professor before. Hi, Sandy, how are you? I'm sure you've heard this story, but it's such a good one. I was warned about him that he was kind of curmudgeon-y, arrogant, angry, not a very pleasant man, and that I was going to hate the class. And I decided in that moment to set a different intention, that I was going to get a lot of value from the class. I was going to enjoy the people, and in fact, maybe even enjoy the teacher that I was warned about. So I get to the class, and the professor walks in, and he was definitely an interesting character. He was very tall, very big. He had high water pants on. He had a stocking cap on. He was an odd dude. And he seemed a little bit angry, I have to admit. And I realized in that moment, I was looking at him, hi, Anna, how are you? I'm so happy to have you with us. Snow, yes, we should be getting some of that pretty soon here. So I knew in that moment I was at a fork in the road with this guy. I could either choose to see the worst in him or the best in him. And it was easy to see the worst. He was mismatched. It looks like maybe he needed a shower. His pants didn't match his shirt. He had a stocking cap on. His fashion statement wasn't refined. And then I realized I had another choice, and that was to see him as odd and lovely and quirky and interesting. And in that moment, I chose to see him as lovable. I chose to see the best in him, even though he was grouchy, even though he was angry, even though he wasn't presenting maybe the best of himself. He was a hurting human, I believe, but I chose to see the best in him. And class was interesting. It was weird. He seemed miserable, but I went through it. Each week, I would go in and choose to see the best in him. And I would say, hey, Bill, how are you doing today? Oh, grumble, grumble, grumble. And I just kept chipping away at him. I kept choosing to see him as odd and lovely and quirky and wonderful. I chose to see him as a soul that God created with great love. And you know what? Something interesting started to happen. He started to say, hey, Tammy, how you doing? It's good to see you. He started shifting around, I think, my diligent intention to see him as lovable. And through the semester, I think we became friends, and he started showing up in a more fun fashion. So class started to be a bit more fun, not just for me, but for everybody. I think that ripple effect started to move out through our classroom. There was a lot more laughter, and there was a lot more joy. Hi, Sandy. I do love you, my soul sister. So time went on, and I had him for maybe a year. I went to classes with him for a year. So he told me he lived in a senior care facility, and often there wasn't enough food because they could only go through the line once. And he did mention that his favorite thing in the world was freshly baked bread and butter. So the last day of class was before Christmas, and I made him homemade bread with butter, and I also made him several different kinds of cookies and treats and such. And I got a card, and I went to class and had everybody sign the card, and then I set this bag of baked goods on his desk. And he's like, what's this? And I said, well, you said you liked fresh baked bread, so I made you some bread. And he goes, oh, it's still warm. And I said, yes, it is. It was made with a lot of love. And he goes, I might get in trouble with the senior care facility. And I said, well, keep it on the down low. So we were just laughing and joking. And that night I heard him laugh like I never heard him laugh before. And I knew I had gotten to him. I knew I had touched his heart. And it seemed like he really opened through this year of consistent seeing the best in him. The whole classroom was laughing. We had a really beautiful, magnificent, wonderful evening. And I was just in joy. I was in bliss about this friendship, this odd, interesting, strange friendship. I'd found out also that he had a daughter that was about my age and that he'd been estranged with her for several years. And I wanted to see myself as his surrogate daughter, the daughter that adored him. And I saw him as my surrogate father, someone who was a little crusty, but was worthy of love. So an interesting thing happened. A couple of days later, I went to the school. There was another card that I had gotten that made me laugh. And I went by the school and I was dropping it off, putting it in his cubby. And somebody said, "Do you know what happened to Bill? Did you hear what happened to Bill?" And I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "He died in his sleep last night." And I was shocked. He was just there. We were just laughing. He seemed so healthy. What do you mean he just died in his sleep? What is interesting, we had talked about how we want to transition, and we all agreed it would be a great way to go, is just dying peacefully in our sleep. And I was so grateful. I was so incredibly grateful that I took the fork in the road that directed me towards acceptance and love, rather than the one that seemed to present itself as judgment and disgust. The truest truth is we make the decision to see the best in others, not for them, but for us. But I have found pretty consistently when I choose to see the best in others, even if they're not presenting the best, they later kind of evolve into that version of themselves. It's like moving towards the light. And what I found is love can be compelling. Kindness can be infectious. Sweetness can ripple out and create an effect in ways that is unpredictable. So perhaps there's some people in your life that maybe aren't presenting themselves in the most beautiful of ways. It's easy to love people that are kind and lovely and beautiful, but it can really compel us to dig a little deeper if our intention is to grow and evolve as souls and really exercise that muscle of consciousness and empowerment when we choose to love those that are presenting themselves as less than lovely. Because the truest truth is every single one of us was created with immense love. Every single one of us, the primary ingredient of who we are is love. Some of us forget that. I've tried to remember it and live more from that posture. And I can clearly recognize others now that are living from that disconnection rather than connection to their love. But those are the people that need it the most. And as an opportunity for us to make that choice, it really does support us in, again, cultivating that muscle, cultivating that connection with the divine. Because anytime we're in judgment of another, anytime we are not in our loving with another, it is moving us out of alignment with our Creator. It doesn't do anything to these other people. Well, maybe it does. Maybe our less than love ripples out as well, but it hurts us more than it does anyone else. So I choose to love others, not only because I think it's good for them. I choose to love others because it's good for me. It's good for my connection to source. And it really brings me beauty, bounty, and blessings in my life. And it's a really wonderful way to live. So maybe loving others is too big of a leap, but you can always choose to see what's good or bad, what is positive or negative. And what we choose to see, the lens we choose to look through in our lives, is going to support us in going more that direction. So the more we choose to see what's good and right, that's how we tend to spiral up and expand in our vibration. The more we choose to judge and see what's bad and wrong, the more we spiral down and attract more of what is negative, bad, and wrong. But the truest truth, and I think this comes from the Course in Miracles, only the love is real. Fear isn't bad. It's just that it's an illusion. It's nothing. And knowing that fear is an illusion doesn't always make things immediately better, but it can help us to realize intellectually that, okay, this is an illusion. Fear and judgment is, it's an ingredient that we use on our planet and reality of duality to have the experience of our own free will. But in truth, there is nothing to be afraid of. Truth is simple. It is the oneness of love and nothing else. There is no conflict in love's oneness, in the universe, in the reality of unity. Above this reality is unity, and there is no loss, there is no guilt, there is no fear. In the oneness of love, there is only joy and peace. And as we're willing to bring love into our perceptions, I believe this is when we invite grace and God and goodness to pour down on us. We start to experience more peace and equanimity. We experience more God winks and synchronicity. And then the appearances in the world and of other people that are less in love are less disturbing. We realize they're just playing their part. They are having their own contract, their own curriculum, their own experience of their disconnection from God. And so that deserves our love and our compassion towards them. But what I found is the more I relax into the place of knowing I'm loved and loving, and the more I let God pour down his grace on me and choose to see the best in others, the more my life continues to expand in a way that's glorious, that's gorgeous, that's blessed, that's bountiful, that's miraculous. When people say, yeah, your life is great, I'd be happy too. But my life did not get great until I did this inner work. It's a process. I was talking to my little sister today. I have a mug that says, thought I had it here with me. Life is good. Life is good. And the more we affirm that life is good, the better life can show up for us. If we complain about what's bad and wrong with other people or life or circumstances, the more we're going to attract and be attracted to things that are bad and wrong. This is about cleaning up our energy, cleaning up our thoughts, getting into right alignment with love so that we can experience more grace and ease and joy and synchronicity and prosperity in our lives, and the less hold this reality of illusion has on us. So I don't know if that makes sense. These are just things that I've experimented with over time. And like I said, back when Bill was my teacher, I'm just grateful that I chose to see him as a love-based soul. Even if he didn't remember it, I knew God made him with love. I'm so grateful I chose to see the best in him. And I do that with a lot of people from my past. You know, my ex-fiance dumped me rather unceremoniously, and I did not like him. In fact, I hated him for about 3-4 years after that, but I realized my life wasn't getting better. And when I meditated about it, it was because I was looking at my past and judging what was bad and wrong. And even in our past relationships and situations, we can always look at what was good or bad. I could look back at that relationship and think, well, this is what we did that was fun and good. This is what memories were that were positive, and what I learned from him. I could look at it glass half full, glass half empty. And however we perceive that glass is what's going to happen with that glass. If we perceive it as halfway empty, it's probably going to start to diminish. If we start to perceive it as full, then it will start to increase. So now my life it's not just half full, it's all the way full, and it's overflowing. And I want that for you as well, because it's possible. These principles are accessible to everyone. So I hope you are seeing the very best in yourself. When you look in the mirror, choose to see the very best of you. Because the truth is, you are beautiful. You are a unique expression of the divine. You are perfect, even in your imperfection. You are glorious. You are gorgeous. You have talents, gifts, and propensities that nobody else has. And as you settle into this knowingness and awareness, you can start to enjoy the experience of being you. And when we start to dance in our own light, when we start to settle into that place of love within and choose to see the best outside of ourselves, our life can start to be more like heaven on earth. We can start to live in that alignment with that something greater. And just from my own experience and my own experiments, I would highly recommend it. Because I want for you beauty, bounty, gifts, blessings, grace, ease, and great love, because you deserve it. You're worthy of it. A perfect child of God. All of us are, even in our imperfection. And even if we stumble and we fall and we trip and we make mistakes, sort of like you don't judge a little child for learning to walk and tripping, you don't beat them up, do you? You just encourage them to keep going. And I think as humans, we're going to trip, we're going to fall, we're going to make mistakes, but let's refine and make more of our choices based out of love rather than fear, more out of acceptance rather than judgment, more from a stand-up posture than a slouchy posture. So I don't know if that helps or makes sense or resonates. Perhaps these are lessons that you've learned yourself on your journey. And, we just keep trying to do it better. It's like I've talked about going to the buffet. We just keep refining our choices. I see life as shopping. So you see things on the hanger, bring it into the dressing room and try it on, see if it fits. And if it doesn't, put it back and then try something else. It's infinite. Our choices and our opportunities to grow and heal and learn and expand is infinite. And I also get that there's no limit to how good it can get. I was telling my little sister, one of my favorite toasts when I have a cocktail, or just one of my favorite prayers, or when I'm having lunch with a friend, or even when I'm dining by myself, I always say, to the best things have ever been, and the best they'll be yet to come. When my life was bad, I started to claim to things being good and getting better. And you know what? They did. And I think they can for everyone if they continue to claim this for themselves. And my life started to get really, really good about 10 years ago. And I would write in my journal, this is the best my life has ever been, but I'm open to it getting better. What I don't want to do is say this is the best things could ever be, because then we put a lid on our pot. We stop the ability to expand, because that's what we're saying. So when I say to the best things have ever been and the best will be yet to come, I'm validating that things are on an upward ascent, but there's still more upward and expansion to experience. And I was saying to God, I don't know how life can get any better. I feel healthy. I have a wonderful relationship with my husband. My sisters and I are getting along better than ever. I have my dream horses that I didn't even know I wanted. I have a beautiful saddle that just makes me so happy. I make money doing what I love. I get to connect on Facebook. I don't know how life can get better. But what I got clearly is God said it is infinite. Love is infinite. Expansion is infinite. There's always going to be something more to experience that is good and glorious and amazing. Every challenge is a springboard to achieve greater heights. That, Tonda Balashevsky Mason, is a quotable quote. I'm going to put that together in a quote and send it to you. So it is true. So when challenges happen, when situations occur that are less than lovely, we can either slouch and get victim-y, or we can stand up in our posture and say, what is my soul trying to learn through this? Rather than saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me? And that can indeed be a springboard to usher us into higher heights. And that's kind of what growth is. It's kind of a, and we plateau, and hopefully we get to relax and enjoy ourselves for a while. And then challenges come as an opportunity for us to dig deeper and go higher. I had this vision of a cork just floating kind of on the surface. And sometimes when that cork is pushed down, that's when it's going to fly up higher. And I feel like that's what's happened in my life. A lot of challenges. And eventually I was pretty down at the bottom of the barrel, contemplating suicide. And I think because I was that low and my sincere conversation and intention was to heal, that cork has definitely propelled and sprung forward and gone really high. Hello, Maggie. How are you, sweet thing? It's so fun to connect with you here. I miss our acting school. I miss acting together, but this is fun too. My girlfriend Penny said, you're not an actor, you're a shaman. You're supposed to be seen, but you're not supposed to be entertaining. You're supposed to be teaching. So I'm enjoying it. So I hope you're finding your authentic shape and enjoying the experience of being the aspect of the divine that you are. And just to end this, I'd like to do just a really simple, sweet prayer. If it resonates for you, you can just close your eyes and just be carried on this wave. So, dear Father, Mother, God, cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, Just now, I ask for you to surround and bless the one that is listening to my voice right now. I ask for blessings and prayers of grace and ease, of anything and everything that's preventing them from aligning more fully with their true nature, which is love, which is bliss, which is prosperity, to be removed. May this soul, this spiritual being that's having this human experience, start to sense your presence in more palpable and beautiful ways. May you bestow upon them God winks and synchronicity, letting them know that you are indeed there, pouring down your love and blessings. May they remove any notion of unworthiness, anything that they judge within themselves as less than valuable or precious, less than lovable. May that start to be dissolved naturally, gracefully, and easily, so they may relax and center more fully into their heart and align more congruently with their soul and with you, dear Source. What I know for sure, God, is that you love this human being. You love this soul. You love this spiritual being that's having this experience. I know you adore them. May they start to feel and sense your adoration. May they start to adore themselves as well. So I hope you're feeling and sensing the grace and the love and the joy, the peace and the beauty that's being poured down over you right now. May you know that you are indeed a child in whom God is well pleased. May you feel and sense your loveliness and your perfection, even as you make mistakes and experience the clumsiness of life, because we do, we trip, we fall. That's the way it goes here on this side of the veil. But know the truest truth is that you are precious and exquisite, beautiful and amazing, loved, deeply loved. And may you start to see others through the eyes of love, because that's going to support you in starting to experience more comfort and beauty and support in your own life. So please be in touch with me if you've got anything that you're thinking that you want to share with me, anything that you want to talk about. You can just leave a message here in the thread. You can share it. I'm going to make it public if there's anybody you think might benefit from this. You can also just private message me with anything you want to share, because I think we heal in relationship. So I want to be relating to you. That means talking and listening. So I yammer on a lot here, but I want to hear what you're thinking and what you have to say, because we're in this together. We're soul siblings on this human adventure together. And I'm so blessed to be on the journey with you. So please know you're my heart, my meditation, my prayers, and I look forward to connecting with you and hearing from you and celebrating the journey with you more and more. So continue taking care of yourself, be in touch, and I love you. I love you. God bless you. Thank you, Anna. I love you too. Onward and upward. Bye for now.